as a kid, if you would have ever said I was going to be the mayor of this town, I'd have bet you $1 million it never happened, because I never really liked politics. I was never interested in it. Well, my name is Chris Warwick. I am a longtime resident of Hanna. I'm currently the mayor of Hanna and also own my own business, the Home Hardware Store here in Hanna, Alberta. It's a fourth generation business, and being a business owner in a small town, you're kind of a leader just by acclamation, just because you're recognized and everybody comes in to see you anyway. So it's a good gig. Small town life is really conducive to leadership for sure. I think in crisis, always a community will come together. And so we have a small crisis, of course, again, with the Sheerness Generating Station. Our coal-fired generating station was slated federally to be closed in 2034 and 2040 for the 2 units. We weren't really aware of that. We knew it was going to happen, but we really didn't have an awareness about that and really had no concern. So with this provincial government's decision to close them before or by 2030, has actually raised an awareness that's gotten us to be proactive instead of reactive to the whole thing. So even the workers at the coal-fired generating station and the mine have been much more vocal than they ever have, and they offer me and all of council information, which is really good, because it's not an easy business. I've learned an awful lot. I think I've learned more in the last 6 months regarding coal-fired generating stations than I learned all through high school in every subject I ever took. But it's been a really good exercise. But the workers that are out there have really come forward, and not to bash. They've come with solutions to say, why aren't we looking at cleaner technologies? Why aren't we looking at this? And from my point of view, our community, I think, is much tighter knit now than it was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, when I started this. And I can't say it's because of me, but I think because of the communication that we've had with everybody regarding we have a climate change task force, which we've set up just so that we can see what our opportunities are, so what our impacts are going to be. And we've communicated that very well with our residents. Yeah, I've really reflected on the history of Hanna as I know it. And because I remember when AGCO came to Hanna to pitch the Sheerness Generating Station. I was in high school, and they had a community hall meeting, and I actually went, and I saw the opportunity. I thought, well, this is great. But I try to reassure people that Hanna was here before the Sheerness Generating Station was. When it goes away, yes, it's going to hurt, but we are a strong community, and we will continue on. We will still be a viable community. A good portion of our ideas come from other committees that are about the community. Our Community Services Board is a great example of that. These are all volunteers. They sit on these committees and they brainstorm things, and then they bring them to council and ask what we think. Would we support it? We get that a lot. Hanna has a long history of the volunteer spirit, and it's amazing. If you ever want to do anything, you give one person a phone call, and next thing you know, you got 20 people more than you need. So it's been very good that way. Implementing, my biggest challenge with that is red tape. There's all these procedures and processes you have to go through. I wish it would be just as easy as to say, well, let's just build this and do it. The residents of the community will get upset at that. Why is this taking so long? When you explain to them, well, why can't you just do it? Unfortunately, that's not the way it works, and that has always been my biggest challenge as a leader and sitting on council in all these years. Has been just the time that it takes to do anything. It's painfully slow. We've had several groups and several committees, I'll call them, that are spearheaded by different people, and putting the right leader in those committees is essential. You can be a leader and micromanage everything, and you will burn out yourself. You have to recognize that you have good people that are working with you. You need to give them a chore. And in Hanna, it seems to be more than anything, people would get frustrated because they're not getting enough to do. They're not being told to do enough. And that's where leadership fails, is You have to let them know. You have to say, I want this and this and this and this done by this date. When you give them that kind of a deadline, people will succeed. If you just say, we need to have this done someday, sometime, when you get around to it, that's when things fail miserably. That's when it goes off the rails. And I think this town has enough leaders, and not people that want to be municipal leaders, but want to lead kind of underneath the radar, and they do an amazing job. They're hands off. They just say, these are the projects that need to happen, and this is when they have to happen by. And those are the most successful projects that we've ever had, is when we have a strong delegator as a leader. Yeah, we're very fortunate. The partnership we have with special areas is amazing, and it has been forever. I think because it's called special areas, and we are in a true special area, it's out of necessity, first of all, but we do it in a true partnership. Nobody tries to get more than the other person, and nobody complains that they're not getting their fair share. Fire is a great example. Our fire trucks are shared 50%. When we purchase a new one, special areas kicks in 50%, because the majority of our fire calls are actually usually rural, but we're supplying the firefighters and the fire hall. So that's a really good example of how that works well. I know other municipalities that have a fire hall in the town, and across the road in the municipal district they have another fire hall, and they don't share at all, it just doesn't make any sense to us. So if we have a need, we ask special areas. The worst thing they can do is say no. So why wouldn't you ask? And we have a great working relationship because of communication. It's very easy to assume that something's wrong, especially if you're not communicating. So if you don't hear from a person, they think that you're maybe mad at them. So we continually communicate with each other. We meet on a regular basis, whether it's just for coffee or a formal meeting setting. We meet very often and just speak about our concerns and always come up with a solution. So that's the key. If you don't talk, you can't know what the other needs are. So, and it's not only just within the special areas. The next closest town east is Youngstown, and the next closest town west is Delia. We have a great working relationship with them. If they need something, we're more than glad to help them out with that. I think the other very important thing is our school boards. It's very important that we work in cooperation with our school boards, because that's an essential thing in any community, and we have a very good relationship with our Prairie Land Regional Division, which really helps us for sure. That's a very large goal of mine, especially with my family. My son, who works with me at the store, of course, in our working relationship, I'm teaching him to lead, to be the manager, so that I can be the mayor. Actually, that's really it's nice to have some free time that way. But just having the conversations with him and leading by example as best I can. I don't always do it right, as anybody will know, but I think just teaching him about what it means to show people how to lead and how to direct people is the key to good leadership. Things have changed since I was a youth. I'm fortunate because we have our teachers in our grade 5 class every year bring their students into council chambers to have a question and answer period with me. I get asked some of the wildest things. I get more nervous about that than I do anything else, because they ask stuff from left field, but they are engaged and they really want to be a part of the community and helping the community. We do have a youth council. It ebbs and flows. Sometimes you have lots of people wanting to be on it. Some people, sometimes it just kind of drifts away. Right now we have a very strong youth council, and we're very encouraged by them because they do come up with projects and they implement them themselves. And they love to hear from council when we tell them, you guys are going in the right direction, and that's inspiring to them. I think when they hear from a leader in town that they're doing the right thing and go in the right direction, that just encourages them to carry on and be leaders themselves.